Welcome back, family, to the Truth Be Told podcast, where we'll be telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, God. Before we dive into this episode, allow me to refer to my notes really quickly. As you know, I've handled the research, and I just want to make sure that this episode is in tip top shape. So let me refer to my notes quickly. Thank you for your patience. I mean, so are we going to talk about it? I mean, everybody's talking about it. So should we talk about it? Or are we going to act like there's nothing really going on here? Now, you know I'm going to tell you the truth, right? We could discuss everything that's been going on in the news lately with this, among other things. But I figure with the atmosphere in the news being so heavily loaded with controversial topics at this time, why not keep it lighthearted, okay? We've been experiencing enough in our lives, individually, locally, globally, systemically. Why not just keep it light and fun? So, why don't we just do a movie review? I haven't done one in a while, so let's review a movie that I saw about a year ago. It came out in 2024. Let's get into it, okay? We haven't done a movie review in a while, so let's get into it. The movie I've chosen to review for today's episode to discuss, as I said, came out in 2024. I saw it on Netflix. I don't know if it was featured anywhere else. Quite an interesting movie. If you are into psychological thrillers, then this one is must-see TV. It's called Blink Twice. Blink Twice was a documentary. I mean, it was a movie. Yeah, it was just a movie. It wasn't a documentary. Sorry, my mistake. In the movie Blink Twice, we meet Slater, played by Channing Tatum, who is a handsome billionaire. During the course of the movie, he has some type of run-in with a young lady by the name of Frida, and some way or another invites her to an elite party with all of his friends. Okay, so she attends with her friend, and sometime during the party, an assistant or some other person comes up to her and says, Slater's very sorry. He couldn't spend any time with you. He would love to invite you to his private island. As many women in their 20s would do, she obliges, right? Who would turn down an invitation from a billionaire to be flown to his private island to party? No one, right? So, upon accepting this invitation, Frida invites her friend along with her to come. Her friend, who naturally is a skeptic, right? We always have that person in the movie who is a natural born skeptic. And she decides to go with Frida because better to go with her than without her, right? Right. So, what they come to realize is it won't be just those two. There are actually a group of young, beautiful women being flown privately to a private island by this billionaire. How nice, right? Upon arriving to the island, the women are provided a few things for the duration of their stay, but it's never really specified just how long they'll be there, what the itinerary or plan is. It's just a vibe, right? It all starts off well and fine. I mean, everyone's enjoying the beach, laying out, kind of a vacation vibe, hanging by the pool, meeting different people, mingling as anyone would do, okay? Kind of that easy breezy, wind in your hair, sand in your feet type of energy. A vibe, okay? A vibe. In the evenings, they typically meet up for a large dinner party where everyone gathers to eat, converse, whatever have you. The drinks are flowing, the substances are pouring, and as you can imagine, the vibe kind of loosens up. Okay, there's dancing, there's a lot of fun, definitely a good energy to be around. The next day, rinse and repeat, they do the same thing, right? The only thing is, none of the young ladies can quite recall what went on the night before, and this seems to happen every morning. Everyone can agree that the night before was a good vibe, and dinner went well, and dancing went well, but there's always a particular point where everyone kind of seems to go blank on what the details of the evening were, right? Giving the nature of the parties and the energy, it's not too far fetched that they would wake up kind of forgetful of what they've done. I mean, most of us have been there, right? Right. Nothing too alarming. A few days into this vacation, one of the girls says something quite peculiar. She's like, I'm having fun, I think. I'm not sure. Like, she's not really sure. And then she goes on to say, like, yeah, I don't think so. Like, something peculiar is going on. This is where the plot starts to twist, as there are many twists in this story. If you haven't watched it, you definitely need to tune in, especially if you love a good I mean, psychological thriller. Definitely not a documentary. Definitely not a documentary. So at some point, Frida's friend gets bit by a snake and she is out of commission for the party scene. Okay. So she has to tend to her wounds, etc., etc. But it seems one of the side effects of this snake bite is that she can now recall all of the dirty details of the night before. The memories are coming in slowly and they are quite triggering and traumatizing. She tries to discuss this with Frida, and Frida kind of brushes it off and dismisses it. No, we're having fun. I don't remember anything like that. But the friend is kind of recalling some dark details. But as I mentioned before, none of the young ladies are able to recall what's been going on with them each night, so they're of no help either. Slater gets wind of the girl remembering these details, and unfortunately, he has her off. Now, this is where the story picks up because now they try to gaslight Frida into thinking her friend never attended this party. She was invited alone. They have no idea who she's talking about and what she's even talking about. And what makes matters worse is the women have no recollection of the evenings or what's going on. Everyone's so inebriated half of the time, they don't know who's there and who isn't. So everyone's kind of going along with this story that, yeah, no, we don't know who you're talking about. Frida is now beside herself, as anyone would. She knows darn well her friend is there and has accompanied her to this private island with a billionaire and all of his friends. Okay. So they continue trying to gaslight her into thinking that her friend didn't come to this island. She begins to look for clues, any details she can find to confirm what she knows to be true, that her friend was indeed there and she's not tripping. Of course she does. She finds a lighter of her friend, so she knows for sure that her friend was there. It's a specific lighter that is her friend. So she knows she was there, right? Which we all knew. This is where things get deep because now she's confronted with the fact that one, her friend was kind of in distress the last time she saw her, recalling all these strange, disturbing details of the night before. Now she's coincidentally missing. So her spidey senses start tingling and she is on a quest to figure out what is going on. What are these men hiding? Why can't they remember the night before? And what are they trying to hide in the midst of all of this? So now she becomes a skeptic of her own, questioning everything. Is it in the food? Is it in the beverages? Is it in the substances? What is causing this minor amnesia amongst the ladies? They can remember the whole day, just not the evenings. She comes to quickly find out that it is indeed the perfume that is putting them in this weird state where the body functions and the brain does not. So she comes up with a plan to get to the bottom of it, and what she comes to find out is quite disturbing. She finds out that the males are passing these women around like portions on the dinner plate and pillaging them all night long. And then everyone wakes up, doesn't remember a thing, and does it all over again. Wash, rinse, repeat. When she figures this out, she is highly disturbed to say the least. So she starts trying to alert the women and wake them up to the fact of the details that she had found out. First skeptical, but then they come to realize, yeah, something is off. So they all come up with a plan of revenge against the males. And this is where the plot gets deeper and turns a little bit more. They make this plan of revenge against the males and they literally start taking them out one by one until the end when they're able to confront Slater about the whole sordid deal, okay? So I won't spoil the end for you, but it's definitely a good movie you should check out. Coincidentally enough, it's no longer on Netflix. We have seen these storylines too many times to count where we have people with a God complex trying to play the God in other people's lives, trying to dictate and control every minor action, behavior, and mindset of other individuals instead of focusing on their own selves, right? As we know through our research, specifically on this channel, those who have a spirit of domination and control have the spirit of the enemy, right? That is not of light. You should not be trying to control or dictate the actions of others so heavily instead of focusing on what you need to do for yourself in your life, for your path towards your purpose, right? If we spend so much time trying to focus on the actions of others, we unintentionally leave our spot empty. As you may know, when dealing with the enemy, he must always reveal his intentions first as a warning. That is the deal, that is the contract. We've all come to know that, right? More specifically, when you're dealing with a narcissist, one thing they love to do is to put things right in front of your face, to kind of taunt you. They want you to know what they did. They want you to know that they know that you know and have you cornered, and there's really not much you can do about it. They love to throw the nefarious things that they've done in your face quite subtly to get a reaction from you to feed off of your energy. What we know about the society that we live in, it in itself is a narcissistic system in which narcissists thrive. So they enjoy putting these very things in storylines right in front of our eyes as if nothing is going on, get paid for it, and they watch us as we scramble to find meaning, immersing ourselves in these deep think tank discussions about the matter, knowing damn well there's not much many people can do about it but spin in these circular conversations of what if, maybe, and perhaps. And those people quite often are labeled crazy or conspiracy theorists, when in reality, it's the warning, it's the truth right before our very eyes. Yet it's masked as just a movie, just a reality show, just music. It's just for our entertainment, when it's quite literally what is going on behind the scenes. That is what they don't want you to know, family. Many of the things that you're seeing on TV, in movies, in storylines, through the music, throughout various avenues in life. It's all around us. The truth is always right under your nose. As I said, the enemy has to warn you before he strikes and does anything. And they get a little kick out of letting it be seen right in the public eye for everyone to watch. Whether you're dealing with a narcissist personally or locally or on a global scale that affects us all systemically, right? These are the things that we have to deal with. These are the things we have to start discussing on a broader scale to bring more attention to it, to awaken more people to realize that this is not just entertainment. This is our reality being played before us, okay? We are being played. So I ask you, is art imitating life or is life imitating art? Please understand that these things are done purposely only for the sake of their amusement. We must all learn to use our discernment with the things that we're watching and intaking on these different platforms, whether through TV, music, movies, social media, etc., etc. Even in some instances, real life. As I said, you could be dealing with a person like this individually and not be aware of it, or have the people around you not really aware of the type of person that you are dealing with, yet you know the truth. So we must remember to use our discernment with all the things that we're intaking, whether it's on a grander scale through social media, music, movies, etc., etc., and more specifically, the things that you are dealing with individually in life, okay? Because at the end of the day, narcissists live on every level. It's not just in these systems that operate society, right? They're within everyone's lives, homes, marriages, etc., etc. Okay, so learn to use your discernment and pick up the warning signs. As I said, the enemy always has to warn you. So, are you paying attention? It's not just a movie, it's not just music, it's not just a storyline, it's not just a script. Okay? It's not just entertainment. Okay? So I implore you to look deeper, and I hope this helps. We've all heard the saying, idle hands are the devil's playground, but I happen to like the Jamaican version of that saying. Idle dogs fuck sheep. We should have learned by now, consequence is of no coincidence. God help all those suffering with a God complex. Aftermath is always the sum of poor calculation. So when things aren't adding up, you better start deleting. And if you think and move as if you're invincible, God will help you test that theory. Okay? So that is the message. I hope you guys enjoyed this movie review. Definitely not a documentary. maybe you'll find time to watch it soon and tell me what you think. This is definitely a conversation we should delve into deeper, the movie review. And let me know what you think in the comments section. If you've watched the movie, please chime in below and tell me your thoughts about it. What were your initial reactions to this movie? Okay. What were your initial reactions to this movie? And how is this review resonating for you now? Do you see anything any differently? Definitely let me know. Chime in the comments. As I always say, truth without love is brutality. Love without truth is hypocrisy. And unfortunately, fools multiply when wise men and women are silent. So we mustn't be silent. We must tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, even when it hurts. Until next time, family. Peace, y'all.